Good morning. Welcome to day 129, Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. Been going for about an hour and a half. It was cold this morning. I should have had my gloves on. Very cold. It's still 43 degrees right now, but the sun's coming out. So having a little break. Going to keep on heading on the Forest Service roads here and go from there. We may actually hit Main Road today. Depends on how we're doing later in the day. We'll see. So, see you in a bit. All right. It's about 8:30. We're at the junction where I wanted to camp last night. I'm glad I didn't push it on fresh legs without the sun beating down on me. It took over 2 hours. So I would have been pretty beat getting in here around 5:30 or so. So gonna take a little break here, have a little something to eat. We're finally able to delayer. It was so cold this morning. Cold where I should have had gloves on. So that has not happened in a long time. So we're gonna keep going for another couple hours. Then we'll do a check when we have cell service and see how many miles we are into the day and how far I think we can get, because we gotta make sure we have water for the end of the day. So I'm not really knowing where water might be. I know there's going to be one reliable source where the forest road is going to cross. Then there's a spring labeled, but I couldn't find any info on the internet about whether that's an active spring or not. So I don't want to count on that to have water there. So probably going to end up doing a water carry, but that's fine. So check in a bit. All right, it's about 12:15. We've made it to the Little Deschutes River or Creek. Gonna do some electrolytes here. Just chatting with a local on an ATV. Trying to find out if the next water source is actually running Big Marsh Creek. And I'm told it is. It may be a little brackish, but not too bad. So that's gonna be my plan. I'm gonna electrolyte here, get on the highway, get up to Big Marsh Creek, and probably call it a day there. So let's get some electrolytes going. Look at this little guy on my sleeping pad. All right, so a guy pulled over on the side of the highway and offered me a ride. Of course, I had to refuse, but he gave me a ride to the gas station. It's going to bring me back to where he picked me up so I can keep my continuous footpath. That is awesome. I'm going to get some cold drinks. Oh yeah, I just got dropped off by my friend Mark. He and his buddies just did a section out of the JMT, and he lives in this area. So he drove me to the gas station. I picked up some water, a Sprite. I downed a Powerade. Got a couple snacks, and I got a gallon of water. There were some other Thru-Hikers behind me. He's going to see if they want that water. So now I'm pretty much set. I can camp where I please. So I'm going to take a look at the topo map real quick and see what things are looking like here. I may just take a walk into the woods here and call it a day. Okay, I'm in my tent. It's 5:30. I'm drinking an ice cold Sprite and snacking on my favorite pretzels. How did this happen, you may ask? What just an amazing end to the day. I was slogging along. I had checked for a water source about 3 miles back that was showing up on my topo map. I think it was called Little Odell Creek. I actually went back into the woods, saw a little bit of standing water, but the creek is not there. It must be underground, dried up. So I knew I had to go about another 4.5 miles from there to the next water source. I think it's Crescent Creek, big marsh stream. They kind of run into each other. So I knew I'd be able to get water there and I'd find somewhere to camp. 4.5 miles to go. I'm counting down the miles, the mile markers, 79, 78, 77, whatever it was. I knew I only had about 2.5 miles to go. Then I knew I had about 1.5 miles to go. And right after I passed a mile marker, I had noticed a small sedan that had went by me on the highway. Then I saw it turn. I saw some dirt coming up. It must have pulled over on a turnoff. And I didn't see it pull back out. I was like, oh, I wonder if that person is maybe waiting for me to walk by, because I still was probably about a 1/4 mile from there. So I kept trudging along. Sure enough, as I walked by the car, the guy, Mark, asked me if I was hiking the PCT. I said, yeah. He said, you need a ride? And I kind of explained how I was on my continuous footpath. And he said he just got off the JMT with his buddies. So I thought, what the heck? Let me, it's a weird ask, but let me see what he says. He was going to give me a ride to Willamette Pass. Maybe he'll do this. So there's a gas station up the road. I think it's about 6 miles. Let me look. Okay, yeah, so the gas station is about 5 miles up the road. So I said, well, would you have any interest in driving me to the gas station, but then driving me back here where you picked me up so I can continue my continuous footpath? I'm just looking to get some water for tonight. And he laughed and he said, yeah, I can do that. So I chucked my pack in the back of his car because his pack was in the trunk. And he drove me to the Sinclair gas station at Crescent Lake Junction. I asked if I could get him something, and he said no, but he noticed there were a couple other thru-hikers that were behind me. Just as we were pulling out, we saw them like coming over the bend in the road. And he says, do you think they probably won't want to ride to the pass either? They're probably doing the same thing as you, but do you think they would like some water as well? And I said, yeah, I'm sure they would appreciate it. So I just bought like a big thing of water and gave it to him to give to them so they can have some extra water if they want it. In the meantime, I picked up water, some snacks. I didn't want to waste this guy's time too much. So I didn't do a lot of browsing, but I would have even grabbed the cold beer, but I just didn't see anything right off the bat. But the good news is, so then, we're chatting the whole way. He and his friends did the CDT before when it was a proposed long distance trail. That's really cool. I mean, he must have a lot of great stories about that. We just didn't have time to get into it. And he did it years ago when he was young, so 30 years ago. So anyway, he drove me back down the highway to the spot where he picked me up. Amazing. So I'm still on my continuous footpath, but I got a little bonus, which is so nice. So then he went off to go meet up with those other hikers and see if they wanted the water. And I pretty much, right where he dropped me off, I kind of looked to the left. There's a forest. It's not private property. So I just started walking up into the forest, and here I am. I'm not too far from the highway. The highway noise won't bother me at all. It's kind of a tight fit here. I need to start putting on the rain fly for warmth, but I'm just not, I don't think I'm going to bother tonight. But once we're back on the trail, I'll probably start putting on the rain fly a lot more. I was so cold this morning, but I got my gloves out now, so I'll be ready for tomorrow if it's the same. So yeah, just relaxing. Don't have to worry about filtering water. Whatever water I don't use tonight, I'll throw in my hydration bladder, and I can always get more water at the gas station. So that same gas station 5 miles away, I'll hit in the morning. Hopefully they had like some fried food like in a hot box to choose from. I didn't want to like waste this guy's time. But hopefully they'll have some kind of breakfast sandwiches in the morning, because I figure if I leave here at like 6-ish, I'll be there no later than 9, so there should still be breakfast, maybe get another cup of coffee. And I think we have about 13 miles from here to get back on the PCT at Willamette Pass. So we will be back on the PCT tomorrow. But just the timing of how things worked out today. In the back of my head, I said, you know what, you should because I could have stayed on the forest roads for longer and hooked up with this highway a little bit later. But I started thinking to myself, maybe you should get on the highway. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? Who knows who may pull over? And it kind of worked out right near the end, where I still had another probably hour and a half of hiking to do on the road. It was I pretty much did, I think, about 8 miles on the highway today, and the rest on Forest Service roads, but I think it was easily a 20-mile day. I'm not going to worry about it much too one way or the other, but I feel like it was a 20-plus mile day, but feeling pretty good, and now feeling really good. So I'm going to get some dinner going. I'm going to relax. Just amazing that all kind of worked out. Stuff like that just makes your night. So that's it. We'll see you in the morning for more road walking, for gas station breakfast, and then a triumphant return on a continuous footpath to the Pacific Crest Trail. See you then.